I think Godox may have read my brain and hopefully solved one of my flash issues that I've been having. Hey, I'm Luke Cleland. I'm a wedding photographer, and I have been using more and more flash these days. And as a photographer, one of the really cool things about having a YouTube channel is that I often get emails, if not every few days or every week, of people wanting to send me gear and review it on the channel. Now, a lot of those are things that I would never use or I would never recommend on the channel. But every so often someone does want to send me something that's quite interesting and very intriguing. And this little guy from Godox, very interesting. Now, I only do reviews like this if it's something that I would actually take to one of my own weddings and use it as part of my own gear. I'm not interested in reviewing things or telling you to get things that I wouldn't personally use myself. And I am going to take this thing tomorrow to a wedding to test it out because, frankly, I am very excited about the possibility of this thing working well. So I hope it works well. Now, I have been a fan of Godox flashes. I've done a few reviews on their other flashes, and I currently use 2 of their V100 flashes, as well as their trigger. Now, I've had a few issues with equipment over the years, but overall, I've been pretty impressed with the low cost and the pretty high quality of these flashes. And like I've said, I've been using flash more and more at weddings, but part of the issue is that when you have one of these suckers on top of your camera and you're carrying 2 cameras and you're carrying around this for like hours, it's pretty heavy. So what I've been doing is, instead of having this like on my camera the whole day, I have used actually their pouch that they sent with this flash. And it has a great little belt loop. And so I kind of put this on my back belt loop and just have it with me so that when I want to use flash, it's there. But even still, it's bulky, it's big, and it is heavy when you add it to your camera. So I have just been dreaming recently. I was like, man, I wish there was like a tiny compact flash that I could use, that I could have on me the whole day, but it wouldn't add all of this weight and bulk. Okay, and so then they introduced me to this Godox iT30 Pro, N for Nikon. To give you a comparison, here is their X3 trigger. And so it's about double the size of just the trigger. Now, there is some cool things. When they first sent it to me, I was just anticipating a flash that could go on top of your camera and, it had some controls and that's about it. But one thing that I was quite surprised about and I did not expect at all is that it's pretty much, not quite, but it's pretty much this trigger with a flash at the front of it. So it has a very similar setup. It has a very similar touchscreen and user interface and all of the things that I really liked about this trigger that I did a video on as well. But you also have the ability to use a flash. It can transmit a trigger to other flashes. It can receive a wireless trigger, and it can also be used just on your camera as a flash, just right on the hot shoe, which totally exceeded my expectations. I did not expect it to be like a trigger as well. Now, obviously, like I don't think it's just going to replace my trigger. I don't think I'm just going to leave this on top and use it as a trigger because it's just not, it doesn't have quite as many of the capabilities and ease of use as the actual trigger does. But the magic that I'm really looking forward to is having this trigger on top of my camera and then being able to have the flash in my pocket throughout the entire day. And so if there's a time that I want some direct flash, I can just take it out of my pocket, hold it in my hand like this. It's super light. I can change the direction super easily. Boom, boom, take a couple photos and put it away. Like that's just something that I could not do with one of the larger flashes because they're just so big and heavy. Now, obviously, it's a pretty small device, so I can't imagine that the battery power is that great. There's no like exchangeable batteries. You charge it through a port right on the flash here. But when I'm using, I'm gonna primarily be using this for direct flash. I don't think it's powerful enough to bounce flash with it, but I will try. I'll try and see what it's like. But when I'm using direct flash, I really don't need that much power at all. Like, in fact, when I'm using my, large flashes, I'm typically bringing it all the way down to the very lowest power. So the fact that this is a low power flash to begin with is actually exactly what I need. A couple other things, it just has this little dial that's like wide and normal diffusion. So I guess normal is just normal. And then it has a wide diffusion, which will spread out the light a little further, which is a nice that it has that little option. One of the only really other things on this flash is this dial at the top, which I love. It even has like little clicks as you move it. I love that they included the dial because yes, I love the touchscreen, but I really like the idea that I can be having my camera with the trigger on top. I can hold this flash with my other hand. I can have it in manual mode, and I literally with my index finger can just move it up or down with the amount of power that I want. I'm excited about trying that. I think that is going to create a lot of possibilities for being able to use flash quickly on a wedding day, and I am pumped about that. And then really the last thing on this flash to even talk about is that they have this little lock button. So you don't need to do anything to slide it onto your camera, but when you take it off, you just hold down this lock button and it unlocks it so that you can pull it off your camera. I love that it doesn't have like a finicky dial or weird locking system, which makes it really quick and easy for putting a flash on your camera, especially during a fast-paced wedding. That's really great. Oh, and of course, one thing that I should mention is that it has manual mode and it has TTL. You can use TTL like right on your camera, and you can also use it if you are using a trigger like this and you're sending a radio trigger to fire this wirelessly. So pretty great. We'll see how it works this weekend. Let me know in the comments. Have you used something like this before? And what did you think? Is like I guess the big things that I'm kind of worried about is battery life. Like, is this like usable on a wedding day? And I guess just kind of overall reliability. Is it something that will actually work for me as a professional while I'm shooting a wedding? So we will see. Okay, bye.